make your life easier and reduce your stress levels when going to Disney with a baby or toddler. So I grew up going to Disneyland all of the time, and when my baby Leo turned 1, my husband and I wanted to take him to Disneyland for his first trip. Being the over planner that I am, I had to do some research and look to see how to actually do Disney with a baby because I had no idea. I am happy to report that we had a magical Disney trip. We stood at the park for 12 hours, which I was not expecting to do with a 1-year-old, but we did it, we survived, and we had a great time. So these tips are here to help you if you are a new parent. Okay, so tip number 1 is to buy a Genie Plus pass. This pass acts like a fast pass, which they no longer have at Disneyland. It's now Genie Plus and Lightning Lane, which are 2 separate things. Lightning Lane, you have to actually pay for each specific ride. Genie Plus acts as the fast pass where you can hold your place in line and go at a specific time. I 100% recommend this because when you are at Disney with a toddler or baby, you want to minimize the amount of time that you are standing in line because we all know babies get, fussy and they want to move around, and staying in one place is just not good for everybody. Another thing that you get with Genie Plus is access to Photo Pass. So there are employees with cameras all around the park at different locations, snapping photos, and they have, the good camera with the good lighting, and it's just nice to have someone who knows what they're doing to take your family photo. So with the Genie Plus Pass, you have access to all of those photos that you take for that one day. I believe it's for like 40 days, and you can download your photos and have all those memories. Tip number 2 is to download the Disneyland app and get familiar with it. It's not super complicated, but if you're not really tech savvy, it will take some time to get used to. There's so many things that you can see through the app. You can tell how long wait times are, you could do reservations, you can call and pick up orders for food. Just get familiar with the app download it before you go to the park. And so then you're all set by the time you're in it. Tip number 3 is to make your reservations early. So if you're looking to get a drink or something in Disneyland, you have to make those reservations prior. I don't know exactly if it's day of or you have to make it months in advance. Tip number 4 is if you're taking a stroller, and I would recommend doing so if you have a toddler or baby, make sure that your stroller is within the guidelines for the park. So there are specific dimensions that are only available to go inside of the Disney theme parks. So luckily our stroller met those requirements, but I would also recommend getting a stroller that is lightweight and easy to fold, because when you get to the park, you're gonna have to fold up that stroller and get onto the tram to go into the park. Anytime you get on the train, you'll have to fold up that stroller, and my husband was struggling to fold the stroller and to get on the cart, and I should have got footage of him. It was kind of hilarious. But we're definitely gonna invest in a foldable stroller. If you have any tips or recommendations for your favorite folding lightweight stroller, feel free to leave a comment down in the section because I'm still shopping for one. Tip number 5, this is the last tip before we actually go to the park. This is all prior. You gotta prepare and prep when you have babies and kids. Make sure that you prepare and prep your items the night before. If you are leaving in the morning like we did, make sure everything is packed. You got your change of clothes, your diapers, you have your clothes picked out, you have your baby's clothes picked out, everything is ready to go. You have food and snacks. So all that you need to do is just grab the perishables from the fridge, put it in the bag, and get out of there. Okay, so tip number 6 is to get to the park early, and I'm talking rope drop early. Now, I have never done this in all of my years of going to Disneyland, and I stand by this tip so much. If I had to give you one tip, it would be this one. Be at the parking lot when it opens right at 7 a.m. Drive yourself in, park, walk over, get yourself to the theme park. It opens at 8 a.m., but they allow people to go into Main Street at around 7:30. If you are a hotel guest, you actually have access to go into the park at 7:30. So you can go in even before the majority of the crowd gets in. But we had got there at 7 o'clock. It took us about 30 minutes to go through security on the tram, walk through the entrance, and be there on Main Street. So we were there right at the front of the rope, a handful of people in front of us, and we were just waiting for them to open and drop the rope. So a good thing to do do here is to take some food for your baby to snack on and eat and keep them busy while you wait. I actually made Leo some carrot and zucchini tater tots and took a homemade waffle, just something easy, finger foods that's not messy for him to feed himself while he sat in the stroller. If you want to eat something here too, now's a good time to get in those calories and eat some snacks, maybe take a pastry for yourself, whatever you're into. It's just better to be as close to the front of the rope as you possibly can be, and why not just eat on your downtime? Now, tip number 7 is to go in with a plan, know what rides you absolutely want to get on, and if you have a baby or toddler, it's most likely going to be rides in Fantasyland. So when the rope drops, walk your way over to Fantasyland. It was such a cute experience doing this with our baby. There was like music playing on the speakers, and there were employees all lined up on Fantasyland, like cheering us and welcoming us in, and it was just a super cute experience. But I would recommend going on the rides that do not have a Genie Plus. And the ones that are popular in Fantasyland and usually end up getting a big line is Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and Dumbo. So decide which ride you want to hit up first. Peter Pan was unfortunately closed, so we just decided to go on Dumbo for our first ride. It was such a magical moment being able to walk into the line. We didn't even wait 2 minutes, and I legit started crying in line because I couldn't believe I was there with our baby. It was just such a great experience. So I would recommend the first hour that you're there at the park, try to get on as many rides as you possibly can there in Fantasyland.
Whoa! Oh my gosh, we made it, Leo.
So we ended up doing Dumbo, Casey Jr. Circus Train, Storybook Land Canal Boats, King Arthur's Carousel, and the Mad Hatter's Teacups, all within the first hour of being at the park. And now that we've been in the park for an hour, I thought that it was time for us to use our Genie Plus pass. So we were planning on using it on It's a Small World, but it was closed. So I decided to use it on the Buzz Lightyear ride, and we started making our way towards Tomorrowland. While we were waiting for our Fast Pass time, we decided to wait in line for Finding Nemo, which does not have Genie Plus Fast Pass. So I don't know if I would recommend taking your kid on this. It was dark, it was small and claustrophobic, and it was kind of scary. Leo did okay, but I could tell he was kind of scared. Might be something you want to consider, taking your kids on like dark rides that are really loud and can be kind of jarring for them. But after getting off Finding Nemo, we finally used our first Fast Pass at the Buzz Lightyear line. And once you scan those passes, you're able to go on your phone and book the next one. So I noticed that It's a Small World had opened, so I had booked the Fast Pass for It's a Small World right after that, since we were already in the area. So when you plan out your day and kind of like mapping out where you want to go, you have to plan to use your Fast Passes strategically, because not every ride has it available. Sometimes you'll have to wait in line, and sometimes you could use your Genie Plus pass, and sometimes you have to use a lightning lane, which is a totally separate thing you have to pay for. So after all of that fun, we noticed that Leo was getting a little sleepy and he needed a diaper change, which brings me to tip number 8, which is use the baby center. It's located right on the end of Main Street and has all of your baby needs right in one location, and it is so much better to use the changing tables inside of the baby center rather than at the bathrooms scattered around the park. Baby center is pretty small, so you'll have to park your stroller outside, but once you go in, you let them know what you need, whether it's diaper change, privacy for nursing, food warmer, or bottle warmers. I honestly don't know how they don't have more of these baby centers all throughout the park, because there are so many kids that go there. I feel like this is a necessity. Like, we need more of these. So after Leo had got his fresh diaper, we wanted him to take a nap in his stroller, but sometimes they decide not to nap. So we kind of just had to go with the flow, and this would be my tip number 9, is that no matter how much planning you do, something is going to go wrong, and you just kind of have to go with the flow and just listen to your body and your baby and just make sure that they're comfortable and everyone's hydrated and fed. So at this point, we just decided to go grab some lunch. We were actually able to find Leo some food there at Pizza Planet of all places. Yes, they have pizza, but they also have pasta, which was something that was easy for Leo to eat and that didn't have too many ingredients. And once we were done eating, Leo actually ended up falling asleep in the stroller. All he needed was a full belly of pasta to help him. So we went and tried to find a quiet, cool area for him to rest and for us to rest. And for my last and final tip, tip number 10 is to make sure to use the mobile order app. You don't want to be waiting in line more, so any way that you can minimize waiting in line, do it. I would recommend that you try to plan it out for the tiki room because you can get the Dole Whip ice cream and eat that while you're waiting in line, and you could also take it inside the show and eat it too. Okay, so those have been 10 tips on how to do Disneyland with a baby or toddler. I hope that these were helpful and it makes your experience a little more calmer and less stress. If you have any other tips and tricks, feel free to leave a comment down below. But I hope you all have fun, and yeah, just remember, it's probably not gonna go as planned, and just go with the flow. All right, my name's Tiffy. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.